Week 4 of the NFL season takes place in New York for the Kansas City Chiefs as they match the New York Jets. It'll be two young, feisty defenses taking center stage on the field, and the Kansas City Chiefs offense will have to find a way to move the ball against this stingy New York Jets defense. What we will do is preview this game and see what needs to be done for the Kansas City Chiefs to walk away with a W. With that, let's cut the chit chat and let's have some fun. The lights shine bright on Sunday Night Football, and the Kansas City Chiefs, they take on the New York Jets. And yes, we will be going live on the channel. We will be kicking it off a little early. I will be live on the channel at 8 p.m. Eastern. So please be sure to hit that bell icon, subscribe to the channel. That way you do not miss out on the live stream. And I look forward to seeing you all there. Now, for today's video, we will be doing a quick preview and going through the Kansas City Chiefs offense versus the New York Jets defense and vice versa. The Kansas City Chiefs defense taking on this New York Jets offense. And of course, let's kick it off with the injury report. And boy, I don't know how to start with the injury report. It is a lengthy list. So what I will do is keep it up on the screen for 5 seconds. There are key initial reports with, of course, Nick Bolton. He's going to be missing. Well, I don't know if he's going to actually be missing, but he has missed the first 2 practices of this week. So it's kind of going towards that he may miss week 4 as well. Friday's practice is huge, but if Nick Bolton does miss, that means Drue Tranquill will be up to the occasion as well. And then you had limited participants with guys like Kadarius Toney, Noah Gray, and as you see, it's a lengthy list. So take your time, go through it, and read it. But let's not take too much time focusing on the injury report as it is important. We got a game to zone in on. So let's slide forward and let's focus on this Kansas City Chiefs offense taking on this New York Jets defense. Let's get right into the nitty-gritty, into the bones of it all, because quite frankly, the only way this will be a game, and yes, I'm going to start it off in that route, is if this New York Jets defense stays stingy and gives Patrick Mahomes and the offense living hell, which could happen, because the New York Jets defense is not no joke, is nothing to be messed with. And that's what Steve Spagnuolo, and actually that's what all the coaching staff have discussed, saying, hey, we're not sleeping on this Jets team. This is not going to be no walk in the park. And that is something you love to hear from the coaches, is that they're dialed in and they're not going to let this one slide. That means we'll probably get something of the Kansas City Chiefs that we saw last week. And hey, if we get kind of that story, I will be excited to see it. But one thing the Kansas City Chiefs offense needs to do to succeed against this New York Jets defense, should I do it? Yeah, we're going to do it. Run the damn ball. And that's going to be my mantra throughout the whole season, as you guys already know. But I don't want to just say run the damn ball. More in particular is do what you did last week. Just get the ball to the running back. That's going to make any defense go chaotic and wonder, how do you stop this offense? And of course, as I always mention, it expands. It opens up the offense more. But last week, it was a picture-perfect recipe of what this offense should do. The fact Pacheco had a touchdown, Clyde Edwards-Helaire had a touchdown, and Jet McKinnon had 2. I don't care how you do it. You need to get it in their hands, and it will open up the receiving game. And especially, one thing the New York Jets excel with, and what everyone is well aware of, that secondary. It's stingy. With guys like Sauce Gardner-Johnson, Reed out there, they got cornerbacks who will make plays. And it's funny, Mahomes knows it, and everyone knows it. But the fact that Mahomes is that kind of football nerd where he remembered a pick 6 that Reed had on him in college, the boy is dialed in, and he knows he ain't going to make the same mistake twice. And that means he's going to try to find a way to be a game manager, but also find a way to dissect this defense. And if Mahomes wants to find his shots in this game, you're going to have to take the underneath, and you're going to have to make the defense come in. And once they come in, you will find your shots with guys like, yes, Justin Watson or MVS. It will open up, but you got to give what they're giving to you, and have a field day with it. And that's why I feel this can be a good recipe for the running backs. And look out for guys like Isaiah Pacheco, who has now had back-to-back 60-yard games and touchdowns. And then you got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who we all sleep on, who we all hate on. Still had 55 rush yards and a touchdown. And then Jet McKinnon, who has been leading every pass catcher. Yes, this is including guys like Tyreek Hill, Devontae Adams, Travis Kelce. He's had 13 touchdowns in basically a calendar year. These dudes should not be slept on because they can be productive going into Sunday night. Now, for the running backs to eat and for QB1 to eat, we need to focus in on this offensive line because this offensive line has a huge game ahead of them. And Creed Humphrey even mentioned this game is going to be won in the trenches, and they're ready to step up to the occasion. But let's zone in on one guy because it seems like that's all the referees are zoning in on now is right tackle Jawaan Taylor. And if you don't focus on the penalties, which I know is very hard not to do, Jawaan Taylor has been one of the top right tackles in the league. Now, if he can do some corrections, adjustments, this thing could run very smoothly. But it's also, they're picking on him. So let's see how that manages. And also, this is a spotlight game. So will the refs be going heavy because it's under the lights type of game? We will see. We will find out. But the offensive line in whole, going against the Jets defensive line, it's going to be a bloodbath. It's going to be a fight. But if the Kansas City Chiefs O-line can win that battle, the Kansas City Chiefs offense will be looking good, and you best expect them to be excelling on all cylinders. And I think when you focus on this game in whole, people think the Kansas City Chiefs, this is a give-me game. But I think this is a great test, especially for this offense, because this Jets defense is no joke. But if the Chiefs offense can answer the bell like they did last week against a good defense this week on Sunday Night Football, that's all good signs moving forward and honestly promising. I don't care what no one says, but if the Kansas City Chiefs blow out the New York Jets with this type of defense, man, that's good signs. And that is something not to sleep on. And I expect this offense to look good. And I expect them to basically show, hey, this was not no joke against the Chicago Bears. This offense is back to life. But hey, let's talk about this defense, because there's not only one good defense taking the field, and it's not just the New York Jets. The Kansas City Chiefs defense may be playing better than the New York Jets defense, and these young stud cornerbacks, linebackers, defensive line, pass rushers, you name it, the depth is across the board. They have been balling out for Spagnuolo, and it has been looking brilliant. And like I mentioned in prior videos, I didn't expect it to click like this, but this is a good surprise to me, and I am loving it. And guys, I'm mostly focusing on in this game, the DB room. This is your perfect opportunity to raise to the occasion. You heard me mention it last week, and they did get a turnover. They got a deflected interception, and I didn't have it on my bingo card that Mike Edwards would have the first interception for the Kansas City Chiefs this year. But you're facing a fragile Zach Wilson, who is not confident whatsoever. You could tell by his passes last week, where receivers were running wide open, and he didn't want to throw the ball, and he wanted to take the easy checkdowns. If you force him to make some throws, McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed, Justin Reed, Brian Cook, Joshua Williams, guys, this is your day to have a day and get interceptions and get turnovers. Defensive line, make Zach Wilson uncomfortable, and that won't take too much. I'm looking for a type of game and hoping for a type of game where you draw Robert Saleh's hand and you make him have to bench Zach Wilson and bring in a guy like Trevor Siemian. Now, will it happen? I don't know. Games don't happen the way we project. But if the Kansas City Chiefs defense has a day and they've been doing what they have done for the first 3 weeks of the season, I can see them making Zach Wilson's life hell. But one way Robert Saleh is going to avoid that is they got a solid, if not best, 1-2 punch duo in the backfield with Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook. Now, he has not been using them the way that they should. But every matchup, I always talk about this. Every team is going to look to try to keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. And the Jets have a good setup to do it by running the ball and playing really good defense. And if they play to that script, This will be a much different game than what Chiefs Kingdom is anticipating. Now, I don't know what Robert Saleh has up his sleeve. If he depends on Zach Wilson, that is definitely the wrong cards to draw. But if he depends on guys like Breece Hall and Dalvin Cook, and hopefully that can open up the passing game, it may make it interesting, because last week the Kansas City Chiefs did give up some rush yards to the Chicago Bears. Now, give it for what it's worth. That may be garbage time stuff. That may just because runs happen late in the game, and that's why the yardage ended up being more significant than what it initially was. But if you just look at the box score and you look at the stats, the Kansas City Chiefs were rushed on, and with Johnson, with Justin Fields, they did find a way to get there. The Kansas City Chiefs gotta play stout. That D-line's gotta play good. And if you stop the run early on and you force Robert Saleh to try to make Zach Wilson make a play, this is going to be a fun game for the Kansas City Chiefs defense. And I'm excited to see it. And I think at the end of the day, this should be a double-digit win for the Kansas City Chiefs. Again, will it go that way? Hey, stay tuned. Find out. We'll see it on my live stream. With that, Chiefs Kingdom, I'm going to be checking out. You let me know what are some key things you're looking for this Sunday night as the Kansas City Chiefs go into MetLife and take on the New York Jets. Please do subscribe to the channel. If you did like this video, please leave that big thumbs up. I'm checking out. Y'all take care. Peace.